Hello, everyone. I'm just having one of those mornings today. I'm sure no one will comment about the technical issues in the chat. It's fine. There's only Andy with 11,000 watching live and all that. And there's still people watching us, Andy. You know, we must be doing something right. How you doing?
Exactly. Yeah, good, mate. Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Yeah, my OBS has just completely thrown all its settings and crashed when we started. And it's just gone completely, yeah, bat crazy. But we're here and there's 15 minutes to the deadline. We're going to get straight into it. We're going to talk about our teams quickly, just for a few minutes. And then we're going to take some questions from the chat. My favourite question we've had on one of these deadline stream chats, Andy, was last week, a minute before the deadline. Someone just posed, should I wildcard?
Yes.
Yes, you should, and you should do it right now. So,
God.
excellent. Hi to everyone. Thank you all for joining us. Andy, thank you for stepping in. Seb is the new host of the deadline stream, but he's fallen at the first hurdle because he's ill today, so he's had to
Bless him.
drop out. So, or he's off causing some more Twitter arguments somewhere. You know what he's like.
Yeah. It's not known for that, is he?
No, never, not him.
No, not at all.
Not him. So this is my team heading into Gameweek 6. It's Henderson in goal. It's Trent, Diaz, Gabriel, Salah captain, Foden, Martinelli, Pascal Gross, Haaland, Jesus, and Mitrovic. Looks fairly solid after the wildcard last week. I'm pretty happy with it. Big decisions for me. Obviously, like a lot of people, are Haaland versus Salah captain, and it's El Stupid Nan versus Gabriel. I can't decide who to go for. I want to get your opinion on it, actually. Let's start with the captaincy, though. You, as a spoiler, are going for Haaland, I believe.
Yep.
Why him over Salah?
It was based on Pep's comments recently, actually, and it sounds like he's more than happy to play Haaland with Alvarez, which I thought before it was going to be kind of direct replacement, whereas it looks like he's quite happy to play both of them together. It looks like he's trying to get some, and Luke keeps mentioning this about rhythm of the team. He wants to try and get rhythm of the team, and obviously he's only really going to get that if he keeps playing Haaland. So, I mean, 2 hat-tricks in a row. He's in supreme form. I know what all those chats about form and stuff, but if he gets 60 to 70 minutes against this Aston Villa side, he for me, he's the best captaincy there. The only thing that would sway me towards Salah is his minutes. He's going to be getting 90 minutes, which a lot of people looked at that last week and obviously got a little bit bitten, not a lot bitten by that, because it's only about 7 points difference if you have both in the end. But I just see him as being the best captaincy option, even if he only plays 60 or 70.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with it. I think my logic for going for Salah is I don't think we're going to have many, if any, more opportunities to go against Haaland for the foreseeable.
Yeah.
I know how bad Villa are, but I'm hoping that 90 minutes of Salah would comfortably outscore 20 minutes of Haaland. I don't think Haaland starts. I know Pep's comments were encouraging, but he's good at that. He's good at giving encouraging comments. I remember when he was saying Mahrez is our best player and I rate him so highly and, you know, I'll never sell him and all this. And then he got benched for about 7 successive game weeks after that. So he's...
he did, yeah. Even if he gets benched, though, and he gets 20 minutes, like, he scored a hat-trick in 20 minutes last week.
I know. And, you know, in the last 20 minutes of a game as well, maybe it is, you know, saved by some miracle, Villa have got it down to 1-0 and a chase in the game. That kind of is the time. I'm not saying for a second that he's a bad captain. I can completely see why people are going there. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I like the look of... Salah has a good record against Everton generally. And if I've actually got some defensive stats on Everton, just to show people quickly. Just because Everton are one of the worst teams defensively in the league at the moment. Only Forest and Bournemouth have a worse minutes per expected goal conceded than them, which is surprising because they haven't conceded too many goals, right? Because they've been kind of... And they're kind of getting this bit of a reputation as a team that's kind of can hang on and frustrate and stuff. But I think there's a battering coming for them soon. And I know Liverpool haven't got the best midfield, but it could be this game.
Yeah, and it's just Salah again. Like, you know, obviously he got the 2 assists in midweek, but his stats are still looking good, but he's not getting those goals. Haaland's he's just sat there looking at you saying, I'm literally doing everything I possibly could to be the best captain for you every week, and some people are still going against it.
Yeah.
But I do agree about Everton. I do agree that they're not looking the best. I mean, if you look now, Everton away and Aston Villa away, who do you think concedes more this week, Everton or Aston Villa? I know you just said about Everton's stats, but Villa just look all over the place.
Probably Villa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably Villa. I mean, I guess The thing is, we haven't even got that conundrum of City anymore. But like, who's going to get the goals? You know, is it going to be Foden might get one, Alvarez might get one? Like, it's going to be Haaland if he plays. I think if you think Haaland starts, you captain him. Isn't it? That is a complete no-brainer. But if you think Haaland only gets 30 minutes, then I think there is a decision to be made. And it's amazing that people still think Haaland's only going to get 30 minutes and are still thinking that Salah's the best captain.
I know. I know. I suppose EO comes into it a little bit as well, doesn't it? People are thinking about that because Haaland, even in midweek, was 150, 160%, whereas Salah was 60, I think, 50, 60%. So, I think a lot of people are thinking about that as well. And the fact that it was lovely because you actually benefited from Salah's points, even if you didn't captain him last week, which was quite nice. So that's come into people's thinkings a little bit. Whether that's the right thing to think or not, it does come into people's thinking. So, I'm not surprised people are thinking about Salah because of those minutes. So,
yep. And what do you think about Gabriel versus Stupinan? Because again, the main reason why I'm looking at playing Gabriel is United from set pieces are absolutely terrible. They've conceded the most chances from set plays so far this season. I actually thought, well, they've been better the last kind of, couple of games, right, in Gameweek 3 to 5. So I had a look at that, since Maguire's been out of the team. They're still third worst for clean set piece over the last 3 games. Only Newcastle and Bournemouth have conceded more chance from set plays. So that's why I'm leaning towards Gabriel. But Brighton is surely more likely to get the clean sheet.
Leicester, I suppose Leicester obviously didn't score against Manchester United, did they? But they're usually quite good for a goal. They just put up not very good XG, don't they? So I would probably be leaning Estupiñán myself because I feel like United are going to score against Arsenal. I wouldn't be looking at it in terms of, but Gabriel could get an attack and return against us because we know Lisandro Martinez is absolutely incredible and doesn't lose against other players to set pieces, does he? So
I've got to play him now, haven't I? Just for that. That's typical, isn't it?
100%. But I think Estupiñán's probably the highest ceiling play
for you,
just because of Leicester's XG. Yeah, I think so, and I think I would trust Brighton more than Arsenal this week in terms of keeping a clean sheet. Yeah. I think that's got a low draw look to it. That United Arsenal game.
Yeah.
Something like 1-1 maybe, but
triple Arsenal as well. But United are playing quite well. Seems a bit overkill.
It does, and I don't. That's the one thing I don't like about my team this week. I've got Saliba, Martinelli, and Jesus, and I'm not a massive fan of it, to be honest.
Yeah, let's have I think I will play Stupiñán just so I can call him Stupiñán as well. I've just made the switch, so we'll see if that changes in the next 8 minutes. Let's take a look at your team. Ederson, Trent, Cancelo, Saliba, Robertson, James. Big at the back still. Salah, Martinelli, Gross, Haaland, and Jesus. I guess have you got one eye on any potential team news for Robertson? I guess he's your kind of weak link, right?
Yeah, he's the one. I've been thinking about maybe taking him out for a -4 for Trippier if we have it confirmed that Robertson's definitely not playing. But even then, they've got Wolves at home next week. That's a guaranteed clean sheet, you would have thought, with Wolves' attacking prowess or lack of prowess. And if I can keep Robertson for that, I'd be quite happy to. It's just he's dropping every week, and Trippier's got quite nice fixtures moving forward. So it would be a nice move. But for -4, it's always a tough one because I've already done Rodrigo to Gross. So, I'll keep an eye out for it. But what have we got? 7 minutes left to see whether he does actually start or not, which it doesn't look at the moment like we're going to get anything. So we'll see. Although we might do. We'll see. I'll let you know. I'm just looking. Yeah, I'm just looking to see. We might. Apparently, Nunes starts.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah. No, sorry. This is just a prediction from Liverpool Echo.
Brilliant.
So could be wrong.
So useless, basically. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, useless.
Excellent. Let's take some chat questions. 6 minutes till the deadline. But God, I'll tell you, these deadline streams, they feel so panicked, especially when you've got technical issues at the start. You lost like 5 minutes. We will be here afterwards as well. We'll be chatting about kind of the season so far and sort of plans going forward. So do stick around until the lineups are out. But let's take some questions. Joe HJ is in the same position as me, but Dunk versus Saliba. I think I'd go Dunk out of those two.
Yeah, I would as well.
Yeah. Gabriel has got more goal threat. I know Saliba's got the goal in the assist already for you, typically. But generally speaking, Gabriel's a beast.
Typically.
Got to be done. What about Williams or Dunk?
See, I'm not a massive fan of playing Williams this week. I've already tweeted about it. I think Bournemouth are going to score this week. So I'm going to say Dunk there as well. I think Dunk's a lovely player. I know he got the own goal midweek, but I like Dunk this week.
I'll say Williams. Asim Khan, how's Welbeck as a differential? Yeah, I mean, he should start this week. He missed the last one due to a knock, and we were awful without him. And he came on and almost kind of changed the game. So he'll definitely start. Leicester are poor. Good option. Got no problems with Welbeck at all.
Yeah.
A few people asking about Isak. What are you thinking about Isak? You been impressed?
Yeah, I really like him. Yeah, I really like him. I think with Wilson definitely out, I think he's going to be starting. I think Crystal Palace is an all right game as well at home, and the fixtures are nice moving forward. It's just, do you pick Isak now and then switch to Mitrovic from game week 8 onwards, or do you pick Isak over Mitrovic, which I don't think is maybe the right move. So I think for the next 2 weeks, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I think Isak's a good buy now if you're going to wildcard in 9. But if I had already used the wildcard, if I was in the wildcard this week, I'd just get Mitrovic in and stick with it.
Yeah.
Loads of people asking about Neco Williams. Cucurella or Neco is another one. Guess you'll say Cucurella, right? Because you don't like Williams.
Yeah, I would actually. I think I'd go with Cucurella. I think if you've got Cucurella, I can see Chelsea beating West Ham. I know West Ham played okay midweek, but I can see them beating them. So I'd probably play Cucurella. And obviously you've got Cucurella for the upside of him playing as well. There's a little bit of a hint of maybe Chilwell starting, isn't there? So I know that's tough. It just depends how much you've got the stomach for it, really. If you want a guaranteed starter, then I guess you play Neco Williams.
Yep, good. Matt Wall, what's your dad saying about Brighton? I don't know if you know about my dad's record of predicting Brighton results, Andy. It's absolutely immense. He called the 2-1 Fulham last week. He doesn't always get the score right and stuff, but he always gets the result. Like, he knows when Brighton are going to lose. He's gone for a 2-1 Brighton. I pushed him a little bit more. He wasn't that willing to give me any more information because he doesn't like to be wrong. But he has said that it's going to be Welbeck and Webster with the goals. And and Maddison for Leicester. He's worried about Maddison. He rates him. Likes him. Yeah, like father, like son.
Yep. Yeah, I'll be happy with a clean sheet wipeout anyway.
Yep. Papai says Everton are terrible and they will defend heavy. Will they at Goodison? I think they might be encouraged to push a little bit, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think, and even if they do defend heavily, I don't know whether they've got it in them to keep Liverpool out. I'm not sure. So I mean, I'm expecting Liverpool to score. There's no world I'm seeing where they're not going to score. It's just how many, I guess.
Yep. As if you had Neco Williams, would you play him even though you've got Henderson? Oh, I don't know. Nottingham Forest double up in defence. That seems a bit much to me. I'd try and find a way not to, but I wouldn't take a -4 not to, and I wouldn't play like Pereira over him. So I wouldn't feel too bad about it, but it's not really ideal. Zaha or a Lids mid on a wild card? Ask Ghost.
Oh, I like Zaha. I really like Zaha moving forward. The Leeds mids are nice. I think they're just, the problem is like the Leeds mids are going to share things, so it's going to be Harrison, Aronson, and Sinestra getting kind of sharing bits, whereas Zaha's just the main man, isn't he? And he's on penalties as well. So I think I probably favour Zaha personally.
Yeah, I'd go for Zaha. Zaha or Sinistera, but if I had the money, I'd go Zaha. Pens, right? Pens are so key.
Yeah.
Mina Sidom, thank you for the super chat. Hey guys, best 6.3 million mid, not Gross or Martinelli.
I mean, it's probably going to be those Leeds lads we mentioned, isn't it?
Aronson
it's going to be
or Harrison.
Yeah, I like Aronson because of the long-term view of him. Like, I feel like he's going to be playing all the time. Aronson's probably the way I would go personally. Yep,
I think I agree with that. Play Stupid Nan or Walker, second City defender. I think you've got to go for Walker, right?
Walker, I think.
Yeah, you've got to. Alex says, Andy, why don't you start Andreas over Saliba?
Andreas has got Spurs, hasn't he? I could do. I'm looking at Saliba and thinking, actually, there's every chance United don't score. There's every chance that's a 0-0 or something like that, or it could be a low-scoring game. So I just don't fancy playing Pereira in an away game against Spurs, personally. Yep.
It's about 30 seconds after the deadline. I have switched Gabriel out and brought in Stupid Nan. Make the game more fun tomorrow, anyway. And I love, you know what I was saying about last-minute decisions. They always work out. How about never? No one asking about wildcards. That's good. Would you rather have Tony or Isak for third striker?
Tony for the next 2 weeks.
I'd have Isak. There you go.
Sorry, Isak for the next 2 weeks. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, we haven't got time for you to, get the names wrong, Andy. It's got 10 seconds to make that transfer.
Sorry, Isak.
Thoughts on a -4 for Rodrigo to Reed and Taylor to Isak? Do it. Quick.
Yeah.
Rodrigo's out. He's going to drop more. No, it's too late.
Yeah.
Deadline has passed. Oh, God. It's stressful, these.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good.
Well,
My OBS didn't crash.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I've gone for Salah captain, kept that locked in, but I have swapped
Oh,
out.
did you?
Yeah, I've kept Salah.
Oh, you. I suppose you're at such a good overall rank. You don't really need those big jumps anymore, do you?
Shut up. I don't like this. I don't like this difference. 102,000 compared to
I know.
2.7. How many points is it? How many? Without looking, how many points do you reckon it is?
What are you? I reckon it's about 70.
I say without looking. I have no way of looking because the deadline's gone. Do you know how many points you've got?
671.
You've not got 671.
No, I haven't. 371. Sorry,
371. I've got 304.
so.
So yeah, you're about right. It's about 70.
Yeah, I only know that because I know you're 50 ahead of Mark, and I know Mark is 120 points behind me now.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I kind of guessed it from there.
I remember one of the early Scoutcasts was when Mark and Granville used to do it. And I remember there was one where Granville was 100 points ahead of Mark and Mark won in the end. So,
that's why I'm not saying too much.
And also, I was in a mini league last year and I had a little bet with someone that I was going to finish higher than him. And he was 110 points ahead of me with like 4 game weeks to go. And then he captained De Bruyne.
Oh.
And I didn't have him. And he caught up about... I think he got close to 200 points that week, and I got about 90 something, and I ended up beating him by 3 points. Yeah.
Imagine not captaining a Man City player when he's the obvious captaincy choice in a game week. Could you imagine doing that?
Who would do that? Who would do that?
Could you imagine it? Oh, it's mental, isn't it?
Because last week, plenty of people went for Salah over. Oh, help! Well, a lot of people went for Salah last week, right? In the last game week.
Yeah.
And I thought Haaland would definitely start that one. So I was never tempted by Salah, but I don't think Haaland does start this one. So it just, I know you talk about effective ownership. It doesn't sit right with me thinking that Haaland isn't going to start and getting 20 minutes and captaining him. I don't want to play like that. That's just not.
See, that's the thing. I think he does start. That's the difference. See, like if you don't think he does, you've done the right move.
Yeah.
Whereas I think he does start. I think he gets 60, 70 again.
Yeah. A few people asking if we can start these earlier. Yeah, I think we will going forward. I didn't enjoy that. If there are any issues, it really does. Although it does kind of add to it a little bit. Like I feel a lot more panicked. Anything could happen in this. We've got 560 people watching. This is probably a good time for me to do our new subscribe animation. Let me just press that. Hopefully it works. It does. Good. That's something. If you are watching, do give this video a like. Do make sure you're subscribed to the channel as well. Andy and I will be here right up until the team news from Everton and Liverpool. But yeah, how are you finding this season so far? I mean, you're obviously having is this one of your best starts to a season ever?
For the last 3-4 years, definitely. Yeah, no, it's gone well. Captaincy's gone okay most weeks. The only week it didn't was Salah against Bournemouth, so that's obviously a massive thing. And I seem to be above average every week, so that's nice. But obviously, it's still so bunched up everywhere. It really, really is. Like, I could have one bad week and I drop down to 1 million. So I'm just taking it as it is at the moment. I'm happy with my team, happy how it's set up, rolling every other week. So just kind of carrying on like that at the moment. And then got one eye on wildcarding game week 8 or 9. So that's when the big differentiation might happen. It's how far you want to go away from what is the template at the moment, really, and how much you think rotation is going to hit. And obviously, me and Seb spoke about that on Scoutcast as well. We haven't really seen a mass lot of rotation yet, which I think we're thinking we might do with the midweek game, but maybe this week is the week. I think this week is going to be low scoring because we've all got double, triple Arsenal. We could see some rotation from City. We could see some rotation from Liverpool. So I got a horrible feeling it's going to be low scoring this week.
Yeah. Although whenever not you generally, but whenever anyone thinks that they tend to be the weeks when there's like the most goals. The weeks when I've looked at my team and thought my team looks rubbish this week are normally the weeks in which I have my best weeks, and then it's the complete reverse. You talk about the wild card. You're thinking about game week 9. I've got the season ticker up here. So Chelsea are top of the ticker from game week 9 onwards. They've got Palace, Wolves, Villa, Brentford, United, Brighton, and do watch back on obviously you talk about this kind of stuff on the Scoutcast. Praz and Snallow did a piece on this on the last burning questions as well. So it's definitely in people's minds starting to plan ahead for this thing. But I mean the teams at the top, they don't inspire me massively. I mean you've got Chelsea, Palace. Okay, you've got Zaha there, but Chelsea. Then you've got Bournemouth, Fulham, Mitrovic, Wolves. To the top 5. I mean, what are you thinking of Chelsea at the moment? Do you reckon you're getting some Chelsea players on the wild card? Sterling, maybe?
I mean, not massively. I still don't like their attack. That's the
No.
problem. Like, I don't mind their defense, but even then, like, their defense hasn't been amazing recently. They just got nice high upside wing backs, haven't they? So James will still be in there, but I already have James anyway. So yeah, Crystal Palace. I want Zaha, Mitrovic. I want as well, and I want to try and change that kind of three up top rather than having five at the back and Robertson going. So I'm looking at it and thinking I could make a few moves. I've got a feeling that when I wildcard and when a lot of people wildcard at that time, it's not going to be wholesale changes. I think it is going to be 4 or 5 moves, but it's going to be those 4 or 5 moves that is going to save you from taking hits or save you from using up all those transfers and things. And you never know, over the international break there could be injuries and things like that as well. So yeah, probably not going to be wholesale changes. Lots of people in the chat are saying that Robbo's benched, by the way.
Oh really? Ooh. Ooh. But so what you get Pereira in after all?
Yeah, I get Pereira in unless he comes on, because obviously they've been resting Robertson at about 60, 65. So they might do the same with Simicast, but we'll see.
He's been a bit of a disaster, hasn't he, Robertson? I know he got was it 9 he got against Bournemouth, but other than that, I mean, I had him from the start as well. I thought, Liverpool would start strongly, good fixtures, good defence, but it hasn't worked out.
I've said it. The problem is, like, the fixtures have been so nice that I haven't got rid of him. And I mean, this probably means he starts at home against Wolves, so I'll keep him for next week. I just hate the fact he's going off 60, 65 minutes. Yeah. And it's not even going off with a clean sheet. If he was going off with a clean sheet intact, actually, he'd be really nice to own because they've been conceding. But yeah, he's been a disaster. Let's that goal, that assist against Bournemouth, but he got no bonus. And he's dropped in price 0.2, which has not been nice either. So yeah, I've not been overly happy with him, especially with Diaz scoring a few as well.
Yeah, because I mean, you're 5 at the back, right? So I mean, everyone seems to be taking their money out of that. I did on the wild card. I switched from 5 at the back to the more traditional 3-4-3 kind of formation. But you're sticking with it. I mean, is that? I'm guessing that's something you'd look to address on the wild card, right? You wouldn't have that much money in your back line.
Ultimate plan next week is to roll next week and then use 2 transfers in game week 8 to take Robertson down a Trippier and do Mitrovic. So do Archer up to Mitrovic. Obviously, that gets scuppered a little bit more if Robertson continues to drop and Mitrovic continues to go up, which he very well could do. So I think I've got about 0.4 of a buffer. So I'm hoping that it doesn't get scuppered. If it does, that's really unlucky, but we'll see what happens. But and then you never know if I do that and it works out, then I won't need to wildcard in game week 8 because that's the other plan is to change it all around then. But I feel like he's the cash cow at the back. The rest of the back 4 I love: Trent, Cancelo, Saliba, James. I'll keep them.
Yeah. What about Alisson? Would you stick with the heavy goalkeeper?
Not if he's my wildcard. No. I change him up.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to the fixture ticker again. I mean, one of the reasons why I decided to play it. I mean, obviously, there was lots of reasons to play it in the sense that I was 6 million in the world or wherever it was. I didn't have Haaland. I had injuries in defence as Zinchenko and James. Like, sometimes you just look at your team and you kind of just know, don't you, that it's time. So it's like, yes, it's like it's like taking the old dogs out to the back guard, getting a shotgun and just being like, okay, time to go, De Bruyne, time to go. But I looked at game week 8 and game week 9, and I looked at kind of the teams at the top, and we talked about Chelsea. I mean, Palace obviously is kind of one, but there's not really anyone else from Palace that I'd consider. Bournemouth, no thank you. Fulham, just Mitrovic. Wolves, I'm not going there. Spurs are next. I haven't got any Spurs players. That might be the time when I can look to bring in Perisic or maybe a Kulusevski who's done well for you kind of at the start of the season. Or a Kane, yep. And then I look at the bottom and I look at, Leeds suddenly fall to the bottom. I mean, the fixtures still aren't that bad. I mean, Villa, Palace, Leicester, Fulham, they've got in from game weeks 9 to 13. But like Arsenal right down there. Well, am I going to sell Jesus and Martinelli? I doubt it. I don't think it matters how bad the fixtures are, right? They've started so strongly. Brighton have fallen, but I mean, that could be when I look to lose Gross for someone like Zaha or someone else. I look at Liverpool. Am I going to sell Trent? No. Am I going to sell Salah? I mean, I could, maybe. I mean, that's what people are talking about. Maybe a Salah to Diaz and someone up to...
Their fixtures aren't nice in that period. They've got 4 weeks where their fixtures aren't nice. I think it's from 8 till 11. And I think they play... I haven't got the fixture ticker
It's Brighton, Arsenal, City, West Ham from 9 to 12.
Yeah. And the problem is, I've been talking to a lot of people about this, about do you get rid of someone like Salah during that period? Because there could be high upside going somewhere else because his fixtures are tricky and he's already not been the asset we wanted him to be quite yet. The problem is, who do you go to?
Like,
do you take the money out and go for someone like Kane up top? But even then, that's tough because you're going to have Mitrovic, Jesus, and Haaland most probably. You can't go to Son because you just can't trust Son at the moment. So do you go to KDB? KDB's the only other one, really, isn't he? But we've already seen that he could be rotated as well. So I'm struggling to see where I would use that money, if I'm perfectly honest. It's a shame. What we really want is someone like Son to start hitting fire, start really hitting form just before that, because it will make people think about it and it'll give me a bit of trust going for him, because I think that Spurs run is quite nice and Liverpool's isn't. So that seems like a good opportunity to do something.
It's amazing though, isn't it? You talk about the strikers. I mean, we both started at 5 at the back. I really thought that's where the kind of value was. Mm-hmm. And it almost feels like last year was a blip after all, because now you've got Haaland and Jesus, who I think are going to pretty much be untouchables for us for the whole season or most of the season, unless there's like a quite extreme injury or something like that. So it means you've basically got one striker spot to play with. Tony's been popular. You've got Mitrovic. Nunes is someone who's going to come in. He could be the person that kind of rivals Salah, potentially.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I suppose. Do you lose Salah? But then you're not, if you lose Salah and you get Nunes and Diaz in, you wouldn't want it for that four-week run anyway. You'd want it probably past that. So we spoke about this quite a bit on Scoutcast on Monday, was that, is it time to lose Salah? Is he a £13 million asset when you've got Diaz and Nunes, who are both under 10 million?
And you've got Haaland captaining every week.
Exactly. And you've already got Trent as well. Like before, it's always been Salah, Mane. Oh, it's tough because Mane's always been up there in price as well. But now it's Nunes and it's Diaz there. You're wondering whether Salah is that 30 million asset. But as soon as you get to a game week where Liverpool have a lovely fixture, it's Salah's the one you're going to want to captain. It's not the other one. So it is tough. It's I'm going to look. I'm 100% going to be looking at it on wildcard in game week 8 as potentially losing Salah.
Yeah.
But then if I lose Salah, do I go the whole hog and lose Trent as well?
Yeah. Well, let's just take a quick look at Salah this season compared to last season. Obviously, had a fantastic season last year. Okay, his points fell off towards the back end of last season, but his stats always kind of remained quite strong. But I know Seb showed these kind of heat maps, didn't he, on the kind of scout cards, to show that you look at the heat maps generally where he's receiving the ball, it is basically identical this season. Like, it's not like he's suddenly playing, really deep, or he's playing wide or anything like that. If we look at some of the metrics, I mean, his XG is 0.5 compared to 0.7, his average of last season. His expected assists is up 0.3 compared to 0.2. So his involvement, his XGI, or minutes per XGI, is down from 89.1 to 122.6. So he was one of few players last season who was basically expected to get you something every game he plays. And that's what made him such a brilliant captaincy option, because you could basically rely on him at least having one brilliant chance or creating one brilliant chance per game. That's dropped now, so he's outside of that. And that's coincided with Haaland coming in and scoring back-to-back hat-tricks and kind of being the figurehead. So for 13 million, I think you need Salah to be at least a contender for the captaincy every week, to at least challenge Haaland. And you need for that to happen, you need these stats to be around where they were last season, being around the minutes per XGI of 90 million. So if that doesn't improve, if that output doesn't improve, and his stats aren't terrible, don't get me wrong, but they can't just not be terrible. They need to be brilliant. Yeah. And from what we've seen so far, they haven't been. So I can see why people are going off him. It's just, do you think, because we know what he's done in the past, do you think that kind of, you can look at it in two ways, right? Do you think it biases us a little bit because we think, oh no, it's Salah, he could really hurt us? Whereas if you were coming into this game fresh, you didn't really know about it, you'd watch Salah probably the last few weeks and think, well, he's been lucky, he's got a goal off, he's got assist off his shoulder, he hasn't really looked that good, why would I go for him?
Yeah, probably. Haaland's the one as well. He's ruined it a bit, because you look at Kane and Salah, who have been staples in our team for so long and they've been so reliable. They've actually been pretty reliable this year. I think they've both got 5 returns from 5 games, whatever it is. It's just the fact that Haaland's got 10.
Yeah.
Like he's just broken it for everybody else, really. And everybody's looking at that and they're comparing to Haaland. And I think there is something in what you've just said about how good Salah was. I mean, last year he was just, especially the first half of the season, he was incredible, wasn't he? He was perma-captain for the whole half of the season and into the second half of the season because of what he did already. So I think people are kind of comparing to that a little bit. But I think there is that chat you have to have with yourself about, are you willing to go without him potentially, because there might be somewhere else to go. And I mean, you look in that from game week 8 to 11, who are you going to be captaining, Salah or Haaland? So in game week 8, is it Salah or Haaland? Game week 9, is it Salah or Haaland? And if it's Haaland every week,
yeah,
you're kind of thinking, I could maybe use that money elsewhere.
That's a good point. Let's take a quick look at that. Again, all these stats are from Fantasy Football Scout, so do check out the site if you're interested in doing your own kind of research on this thing. But yeah, you're right. I mean, let's look at Liverpool's run. So Liverpool have Brighton, Arsenal, Man City, and West Ham. So we've already talked about them kind of having a tough run. When at that same time, City have United. So would you rather have Haaland versus United or Liverpool versus Brighton? Both.
You'd probably edge
easy.
Salah, wouldn't you? If you're thinking, yeah, I would say.
I think you'd probably edge Salah, but it's close. I mean, City do have a good record against United, and Haaland's definitely not getting rested for that one. So I don't know. I'd say probably 60-40 towards Salah in that one. Then it's Southampton at home for Man City, and Liverpool have Arsenal away. Well, that's a no-brainer. You're going for Haaland in that one. Yeah. And then it's City versus Liverpool, which is an interesting one. So do you captain one of them in that, or do you go for someone different?
I mean, it depends whether Liverpool's defence is, if they've got any people back by then. Because obviously their defence has been pretty dodgy at the moment, hasn't it? So I think you probably, if it was between the two of them, I think you go with Haaland. But I don't know who Spurs have or Arsenal have that week.
Well, Spurs have Everton at home.
Yeah.
And Arsenal have Leeds away.
Yeah.
But you probably go for a Jesus or a Kane if you've got him in that week, I'd say.
Yeah.
So yeah, not easy. And then in game week 12, City have Arsenal away and Liverpool have West Ham at home. So I guess you'd lean towards Salah in that. So there's probably, although it's not a great run of games for Liverpool, it's not the best run of games for City either, apart from that Southampton game. So
yeah.
I guess there is a decision to make. So maybe it's not the clear cut.
And that's
option.
where, but Spurs is looking okay. So is there potential? And obviously this is not even thinking about rest days and rotation, all that kind of stuff. This is just if they were both playing each game, isn't it?
The thing is as well, though, is there enough? Like we're saying, okay, you probably just edge for Salah in some of these games, but we're not saying, oh, it's definitely Salah for this game, definitely Salah for this game. So can you get away with a Diaz or a Nunez and save that 4 million?
And Kane has come into the conversation already as well. So is it worth downgrading Salah to Kane?
Well,
by the way, this is not either of us saying definitely sell him, is it? This is just us thinking about it. And even the fact we're having this conversation now shows that something's changed.
Yeah, well, Mark was right in a way, because Mark called this. He was an early adopter of the no Salah strategy. I mean, it's gone absolutely terribly for him, but he comes out of it with some credit, I think, because you know, he said Diaz could match Salah, and he pretty much has. There's not been 5 billion different worth of points in it, because obviously Diaz got that big haul against Bournemouth. And he went for Son, and that was an error because Son's just been completely terrible. He hasn't gone for Haaland, and you know he's made lots of other mistakes. But the no Salah thing is definitely something that we're seeing a lot more people buying into. I just wish we had another striker spot, because I look at Kane and I think, you know, if it's between Kane, Mitrovic, Tony, and Nunez for that third spot, that's a really tough decision, isn't it?
Yeah. This is where it's a shame that Son is not quite there at the moment. I think, like I said, if he starts to find a bit of form again and the stats start looking better towards game week 8, game week 9, I think he could start appearing in more wildcard teams. But he's the one. He's the one that would just make it work. You just go Salah to Son, and it would be. I think you then covered with your Spurs, and they've obviously got nice fixtures. But yeah, Nunez is going to be so hard to turn down, isn't he? But I've already said about those fixtures not being overly kind. So do you go with someone like Nunez during that period? I'm not sure.
No, it's. I mean, you know, from going from 3 Liverpool players as an absolute must, it now feels like you could maybe even go with one and just have Trent and not even bother with Diaz, Salah or Nunez, because there's other options from kind of top sides. I mean, my issue with game week 9 is that I just don't see there being, given this is supposed to be shake-up week, I don't think it's going to be that much of a shake-up. I think we're going to see 1 or 2 or maybe maximum 3 positions changing, but not a huge amount. I mean, it's been interesting with the James injury, right? Because James was injured and we saw a bit of a shake-up there. But generally speaking, it's not looking like a
No,
mass
I'm not
exodus.
going to force it.
No.
I'm not going to force it, and that's the main thing. Like people are picking 8 and 9 because it's exactly halfway through. There's an international break and there's a little bit of a fixture swing for some teams, but I'm not going to force it. If I get all the way to, because it's game week 16, isn't it?
Yeah.
We finish. If I get to game week 15 and I haven't used it, then I'll just pick a free hit team basically for that last week. If it really gets to that point where I don't see any other use of using it, then I'll just do that. Because this template is so strong.
I think that could be quite a popular strategy. A lot of people do. I think, given that we've got people burning transfers already and not knowing what to move and stuff. And I look at Chelsea at the top, and there's going to need to be Chelsea are the one team where in the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping that when they get their midfield back, if their defence is stronger, Aubameyang comes in. We haven't talked about him. I mean, at 9 million, it could be that we get to game week 9 and game week 10 and we think, okay, they're top of the fixture ticker right up until game week 16. Let's have a punt on someone like Aubameyang and try and shift things. But it's going to have to be a pretty dramatic thing to oust any of the other strikers I've talked about.
It also reeks of Jesus just being priced so badly as well, because you're looking at Aubameyang and you're thinking what you should be doing is saying, actually, I fancy taking a punt on Aubameyang and selling Jesus, so I'm going to take the downgrade and go to Aubameyang. But you're not. You're having to pay more for Aubameyang when Jesus. It doesn't quite work like that, does it? Unfortunately. But what Aubameyang could do is he could make the people behind him a bit better. So it could make Sterling a bit more of an option and people like that. And that all mounts, for instance, and that might make it quite interesting, because I don't think I'd be going for Aubameyang with the plethora of options we have up front. But it could make someone like Sterling an option, which I don't think he is at the moment, personally.
You're not allowed to mention Mason Mount on these streams. He
returned last week, mate. What are you talking about?
Oh, I knew that would happen as well. Such a dodgy assist as well. He honestly, of all the 8 million options, he was the only one not to get any attacking returns in the time that I had him. How's that for?
Why'd you pick him? Why'd you pick him then?
Well, I didn't know that at the time, did I? I had Kulusevski like you. Here you are lording over everyone. Oh, look how clever I am. I've got Kulusevski in. Yeah, terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I went with Robertson. I can't say too much.
Yeah, well, so did I. And De Bruyne over Haaland. Oh, it's been a bit of a nasty start to the season. Let's talk about United. I get slated a fair bit for my views on United. I would like to say that
Really?
just again, I do not hate Manchester United. I used to be a Manchester United fan until I was heading into university. I've always been, I loved Alex Ferguson, I loved all the players, but I don't really see how, when I'm, kind of talking about football, how you can't address United, because they've spent more money than anyone else. They're a team that I still think, even at this point, should be challenging for, maybe not for the title, but should at least be regulars in the top 4. That should be completely locked in. They should be challenging for trophies. And they're not at all. And they've spent a lot of money, and a lot of managers haven't been able to get it right. So obviously I'm going to talk about them. There's a toxicity around the club, which I think obviously fans like you are hoping that Ten Hag can lift. How do you make the start? I mean, I can't quite believe what I've seen over the last 3 game weeks in terms of results. It's been a complete transformation since that Brentford game.
Yeah, it's obviously the first 2 weeks were Ten Hag kind of trying to get to grips with who his best team was and who he could trust in the games and things like that. And obviously it went completely wrong. But then in the last 3 weeks, like Liverpool was the catalyst, wasn't it? And since then it's looked a bit better. Keeping clean sheets is massive for us. Like we just don't keep clean sheets. We are so poor defensively. And obviously, we kept a clean sheet against Leicester, which actually I thought was quite a good clean sheet as well. They do score goals. So I thought that was okay. You talk about spending money and stuff. The problem is how you spend the money. And you can spend, I could give them 200 million to spend and they could spend it poorly. It just reminds me so much of Liverpool in those kind of Roy Hodgson days, where they were still spending a lot of money, but they were spending it so poorly, and they were consistently outside of the top 4 as well. And it was, you look at it and think we were in that period, and we just needed someone to come in. Ten Hag has basically got no affiliations to anybody. He just says, look, I'm picking the players that I think I can trust and are going to do well. Shock, he's not picking Ronaldo to start games at the moment because he doesn't think his team plays better with Ronaldo in there, which I completely agree with. I think Martial is the one that's going to make this team tick a bit more offensively as well. So I like what I'm seeing. I like the signings. I know you spoke about Anthony. I think Anthony's a player. We don't have someone like him in our team at the moment. Yes, he's a lot of money, but to get people into the Premier League, you have to pay a lot of money, unfortunately. He's somebody that can skip past people and get to the byline. Sancho's not that kind of player. Sancho's a creator that likes to pass and then make a move, whereas Anthony likes to skip past people and kind of get the cross in, or he likes to go right to the corner of the box and whip a cross in, kind of in swinging, which we don't have a lot of at the moment either. So I like what I'm seeing. I'm not saying that we've made this dramatic jump up and all of a sudden we're definitely top four or anything like that, but I'm seeing things that I haven't seen from this team for a while, which is promising. And keeping clean sheets, honestly, is so big for us because it means we only have to score a goal to win a game, which is really big as well. So, yeah, I like it at the moment. I think the signings we've made this year have been fine. It'd be interesting to see how he carries on this year because it's a different year with all this, so many fixtures, so much rotation that we're going to have to do as well. So, yeah, I like it so far. Doesn't mean I'm getting any United players in my FPL team at the moment. I think Rashford could be interesting, 6.3 million.
Does he keep his place though? With Martial's
well,
back?
That's the thing. He's not looked good up top. I don't think he has. I think he wants to drop back and he wants to be on the wing really. So yeah, he's an interesting. But there's a lot of competition now in those spaces. It's tough. Dallow's a good shout. Yeah. Dallow's not a bad shout. I think he's 4.4 for an attacking fullback that's looked good and looks like he's nailed down that position now. So 4.4 is not too bad. So if we get a run of fixtures where they're all kind of green, I think he's not a bad way to go. But yeah, it's just nice to be able to talk about them in the conversation a little bit.
It is, yeah. I mean, Anthony really, I posted saying it was a lot of money for the stats he has, and I stand by that, right? Everyone knows that United have most likely overpaid quite substantially for Anthony, and that was built from the Martinez sale. I think they couldn't sell Martinez at 50 million and then get any less for their prize possession. It's just not how economy works. So they have overpaid, but I think you're right. I mean, what I noticed in the United game versus Leicester was just a complete lack of flair just in the side. Yeah. Like it seems like, and in some ways it's good. You've managed to grind out a 1-0 result, which you've been struggling to do, but there were so many times when Leicester were just there for the taking and there just wasn't any attempts to beat the man. The through balls were poor. And I think if Anthony can add to that and start unlocking teams a bit and bringing a bit more of a buzz around the things, I think he should be a great signing. So yeah.
And he won't be used all the time. He'll be used in certain games, I would have thought, to start with at least. And Leicester away probably isn't that fixture. It's when you're playing some of those maybe newly promoted sides. Think people like that where they're just going to do a low block against you and you've got to try and unlock them. And United have been awful at unlocking low blocks for about 3-4 years now. So it'd be good to have somebody like you just said who has got a bit of flair, got a bit of something different, and will make wing backs especially kind of second guess what they're going to do, as opposed to Sancho or Rashford, who usually run at the wing back, look for somebody behind them, pass it, and then they'll run behind. Whereas Anthony's completely different. So I can understand the signing, but like you said, it is an overpay. But he's 21, 22. So hopefully, if you do sell him in 4 or 5 years' time, there's some sell-on value there as well. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him.
Yep. 2 minutes until we find out whether your boy Robertson starts.
I'm pretty sure from everything the amount of DMs and stuff I'm getting, I'm assuming he's pretty.
There's nothing I could do. Stop messaging me all the time.
It sounds like Tsimikas, Diaz, and Carvalho all start.
Carvalho starts. That's good.
Yeah, and Salah and Diaz.
That'd be an attacking lineup from Liverpool then. That'd be what, Carvalho, Elliott, and Fabinho. Yeah. In midfield. It's better than Milner.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
So he's obviously rewarding Carvalho, isn't he?
Yeah.
For his game winner the other day. But yeah.
Robbo. 1 minute until we get some pain live on the stream. Final question. I don't know if you've actually been asked this before. Top 4 prediction and who gets relegated?
Top 4 for me, City.
For you?
Then Liverpool. Yeah. For me.
Then the Chuckle Brothers.
Liverpool. I know. Then Liverpool. And then I'm going to go Arsenal. And then I'm going to go Spurs. I don't think Chelsea make it, and I don't think United make it.
Interesting.
So, yeah. And then bottom 3, I'm going to go Bournemouth. I'm going to go Forest.
Oh, Mark won't be happy.
Oh, no. It's tough with Forest. No, do you know what? No, I'm not going to go with Forest. I'm going to go Bournemouth, Fulham, and I'm going to go with.
It's not easy, is it? I've
No,
been
it's
asked this
not.
question before. It's not an easy one.
I'm going to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go Everton. Sorry, just go for something different. I'll go for Everton. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most likely ones at the moment are Forest and Bournemouth, and then I think Fulham. I think Fulham will be all right. I think they've got this game plan, and you say when a team's got a game plan like that, they're quite easy to stop. I just don't see how you stop Mitrovic. He's just an absolute, nuisance at the moment. I think it's going to be one of Everton or Southampton for the third one. Yeah. Personally, but I think
by the way, Dwayne Francis in the chat has just said no credit to Andy. I've literally just looked on my Twitter timeline. So if it has come from him originally, then obviously credit to him. But I'm just looking on my timeline.
Right, I'm going to read you the lineups.
Here we go.
It's bad news for you, I'm afraid. It's Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Simicas starts, Fabinho, Elliott, Cavallio, Diaz, Salah, and Nunes. So Nunes does start. Jota is on the bench, along with Firmino and Robertson. Matip on the bench as well. Liverpool, that's a good-looking team from Liverpool, though, isn't it? I mean, it's pretty much full strength apart from Robertson to Simicas, but Simicas is a decent player, so it's not a huge downgrade for him.
Yeah, it's annoying because I reckon Robertson will probably come on, to be perfectly honest. If they're winning, I think he comes on to shore it up, just like Simicas has for Robertson. I think if they're losing, he comes on because he's got set pieces and he bombs down that wing, doesn't he? So I think he probably comes on, but it means I get the Wolves game and then he's gone for me. So is what it is.
For Everton, it's Pickford in goal. It's Patterson, Tarkowski, Cody, and Mikalenko. It's Onana. I'm not going to sing the song. Davies, Iwobi, Gordon, Gray, and Neil Maupay gets his first start for Everton.
Lovely stuff. Gordon's an interesting one, isn't he? He's been doing all right recently.
He has. I mean, it was interesting. Lampard's comments about him as well, wasn't it? Kind of saying, I've seen him. He's gone from a boy to a man this transfer window because he hasn't let all these rumours get to him, and you see all these reports of players banging on the manager's doors, refusing to train, all this kind of stuff, and he obviously hasn't done that at all, and has stayed with Everton. So, yeah, I mean, if I have any Everton player in my team this season, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it would be this person, but you're like, no, I'd just be very surprised.
Well, it would be him, but it would also be a surprise if they're an option.
I think he's the only one I'd go with, and that's on like double game weeks or something like that if they've got nice fixtures and stuff, because he does seem to be their talisman at the moment.
Yep. Prediction for this game?
I'm going to go with 3-1 Liverpool.
3-1. Salah hat-trick, right?
Yeah. No, I think Robertson's going to come on in the 29th minute, get 2 assists. No, it's I think Salah will get. So I think Nunes will probably get a few. Actually, I think Nunes will get 2.
Yeah, again, we haven't seen Salah and the Nunes linking up like at all yet. No. So that was the other thing Mark was kind of wanting to see is would Salah, because his assist potential has gone up. He's crossing more. He's maybe hugging the touchline a bit more than he did. Is that a sign of things to come with Nunes in the side?
Yeah, it could be.
We don't know. Yeah. That's it. I think we'll call it there. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, this is your final call just to like the stream if you haven't already. Do give us a subscribe as well. If you've enjoyed listening to Andy, then you can check him out on the Scoutcast every Tuesday and on the members videos with Mark, which will be starting back next week. Andy, thanks for joining me. I'll let you go and enjoy your weekend. Any big plans?
Yeah. No, just watching football.
Lovely.
Watching football and pretending to play with the kids while I watch more football.
Excellent. You? And try not to get too annoyed when Robertson does come on for 1 point. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, nothing major for me. I might go down and visit my parents tomorrow and watch the Brighton game.
Lovely.
Which would be nice. But watching Brighton with my dad is quite stressful because he's very critical. Let's say it like that. even when they're playing well, he's still very critical. But yeah.
Well, thanks for having me, bud.
You are more than welcome. Thanks for stepping in. And thanks everyone for watching. And we will see you all very soon.
Bye bye.